My name is Jacob Chai, and I would like to have a personal glimpse on my personal testimony for the life span that I've gone through. I do hope it may impact and have a meaningful encouragement to someone outside there. I do hail from Akobo as my background home. Well, actually, I have some horrific progress or stages in life. First and foremost, I was brought up in a nuclear family setup. I do vividly actually remember in 1997, this was a negative occasion that my dear dad, along with my stepdad, passed on. And at this horrific turn of events, I actually never anticipated that there might be a second round of a negative event to happen in my family. So when my dad passed on, my dear mom took over and the responsibility to take care of us back in the village. Things did happen again when I actually moved from home to a refugee camp of Kakuma in Kenya. Back then, my mom and my siblings were left behind in my homeland. At this crucial stage, mom again, after 8 years, when my dear dad passed on, my mom passed on again. As I mentioned before, this was the most horrific kind of events that actually I witnessed. As a small boy by then, I was forced to, by the circumstances of the demise of my parents, to be a responsible person at a very tender age, due to no otherwise than to take care of my siblings. And actually, good enough, during this unfortunate event of my mom's demise, the community from within the Kakuma camp, the year 2004, headed by the Presbyterian Church team, came into our critical situation and to figure out what could be done to the situation we were engulfed in. At that moment, since there are always wonders to God on how He can intervene in, South Korean Nairobi Church, based in Nairobi, came with team to actually had a program to support both parents, children for education program. At that juncture, I do vividly recall that on July of 2004, the South Korean came as a church team base and took my family siblings to Nairobi. At that moment, mind you, my mom left a 6 years old last born at my care and responsibility, and in extensive to the care of the community members in the camp. At this moment, when my siblings were taken, I had to remain behind for reason to actually provide the needed care to our last born, and to actually been with our last born for good 3 months in the Kakuma camp main hospital. And thereafter, when he recovered from the process where he was in a critical situation that none could imagine that he would be alive, then the South Korean again contacted through the Presbyterian Church that they have the willingness to take me again with my siblings. At this time again, my 6 months old sibling was at a situation that we would not be able to take him along with us. So it prompted the whole team to advise my next of kin that let our last born be left behind until probably when he is fully recovered in a good, careable year where he can actually proceed to follow us. Well, it was a disappointment that last born of ours that I took enough time and the community spent a lot of humanitarian support that I could leave him behind. When I left, I joined the community of the South Korean in Nairobi at a place called Mayu, situated next to Kijabe Mission Center. This again became a horrific moment for me because this was at an orphanage in a foreign land. At this moment, the kind of resentment or bitter question that came in my mind was, do I and my sibling deserve to, be in orphanage? But yes, due to the event that took place, that we have no parents. I and my sibling resulted to admit the situation and to actually got into the orphanage, an opportunity that we appreciated. Well, in the process, as we've been away from our next of kin, from the presence of our land as South Sudan, one question that actually been consistent and persistent in my mind and along with my siblings, it been, what is our identity? Who are we? At that time, we got too much emotional that actually the multicultural center from the South Korean, from the Kenyan, and ourselves, we felt we are more of in between the different identities. At that juncture, I do remember it was on a rainy day. I and my next follower sat on the floor and tried to contemplate the whole process with a lot of bitterness. To an extent, we felt to question the Almighty God authority in terms of mercy upon us. Well, again, we actually got resolved that if this is God's will, that we have to be in an orphanage, and thereafter, something good would come out of it, to have a living testimony about the process we've gone through, then indeed we temporarily resolved to convince ourselves that we need but to focus on our education. Well, at that time, psychologically, none would know that we are too much in isolation world. But it was I and my siblings' feelings and our heart felt that we were actually contemplating the whole process of the demise of my parents for so many years. It came this moment whereby there was a team who came from South Korea to actually give motivational speeches on the importance of to be positively motivated regardless of the historical background one might be hailing from. One thing that actually picked was that my past is crucial, but at the same time, I should not hold into the negative events that did happen to my family. Well, my personal glimpse or the testimony is more of a progressive success that has come as a result of God's intervention through His different Good Samaritans from across the different background of humanity. I do appreciate indeed the church Presbyterian who took into account that our circumstantial situation was too much vulnerable for us to bear, and hence we needed that help to be supported by the South Korean. Well, up to that stage where I've been together with my siblings in the orphanage, one thing that I actually felt a lot is the orphanage process molded me more of a humanity person in my thinking in my actions, when this opportunity for me to be present at my homeland, South Sudan, is so encouraging to me that God has helped me to actually maintain focus on my mindset that one day the negative events that did took place will become a concrete testimony that an individual who might be in the same situation or in a different situation, more like our situation, will have a reason to wade through and to persevere, knowing that there will be an ultimate intervention on a situation. And the ultimate intervention to me is God's intervention. God's intervention from your mindset focus is very, very important. Just like the same from my own focus, that God's intervention has seen me through this far. So I would encourage my fellow human beings who might have an access to this program that you do not dwell on the negative events of life. Give a chance of hope.
True stories that can change your life. Real stories of real people who have gone through the most difficult circumstances in their lives, but they have experienced the power to forgive.
Gisas hagigia baggergeru hayataki gisata nas hagigiin umon mururu fi zuruf sab wa hawadis tahaya lakini umon wedi shuhuda legua tamusamaha. If you'd like to get a free copy of the book and audio device Power to Forgive, you can call this toll-free number 2222. Call now and get your free copy.
Kan تقدر لقوا كتابه جهاز صوتي قوة مسامحة انت بقدر تدوق تليفون في نمرة دي 22 اتصال ده مجاني انت ما بدافع قروش فوقه كلي تدوق تليفون حسده وانت بلقوا هدية تاكي.